So today is a big day where we're going to put the big panels back on the truck and finish the uprights. So the cables were not tight on the front because I'm working on that, and they were tight on the back, so there's no wobble in the back. So what I did yesterday is I put a board here. Let's see if you can see that. You can see it goes from this upright, connects all the way across to the other upright, and what that allows is me to tighten these turnbuckles, and it puts tension on that board and it stops it from wobbling. So I got another one mocked up here. I'm gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be really hard to drill and screw in that area over there. I'm gonna have to take that control panel off. This side will be easy to get to. So once I get that one done, then we can tighten these cables up and there'll be no sway at all. And then my plan is to take these little dinky solar panels off and put the ones from the solar golf cart on there. And that might allow me to have more wood to do other things with, because those panels fit perfectly up here, and it'll give me 600 watts. And on a cloudy day, I'll have plenty of power. So today, if I don't have to do any service calls, we might be able to take this thing for a ride. For sure, maybe tomorrow, and go to park somewhere and run the setup and see how it acts. And I'm almost wanting a cloudy day now, just to see if it's gonna work on a cloudy day, if the car show is cloudy that day, if I'm gonna have enough power to run the laptop and everything I wanna run. This is the one I did yesterday, and it didn't have any bow in it for the most part. So those pieces of wood were a little bit better when it comes to being straight. So these two that I found had a pretty big bow. So I got them wet, and I got the batteries on there weighting it. And I'm gonna screw it down just like that, so it tries to maintain that bow more too. So I'm gonna drill and screw that and keep those batteries on there for a bit. And that should, because it had a big bow to the point to where if I would have put it across there straight like the other one, it'd have been sticking up a good maybe inch or more. So I'm gonna try to get this bow out of there, and we'll get that put on there. And then we're gonna get on the golf cart and pull the trailer around here and maybe do some tests with the tiller before I take the panels off, because I never got to run the tiller with those panels. So we're gonna test that out. We got our solar direct power drill. So let's get this done. There we go. And I'll do the rest by hand with my trusty snap-on right here. This thing I've had since I was a teenager. Got it straight from the snap-on truck back when I used to rebuild carbs. I don't know, it's 18, 17, 16, who knows. Made in USA. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to torque these down by hand and get a good feel. Nothing stripping. I did countersinking with these, with this unibit. That's just what I got. It's easier to do it that way than, you know, I know there's drill bits that have countersinking built into them. I just can't find mine. I know I have one. So, and I also know that there's countersinking bits that I have and I can't find. So there we go. I'm gonna let this sit for a second, and it's starting to dry up pretty good. Oh, by the way, wet wood drills way better than dry wood. I'm sure you knew that, but just by wetting this down, night and day difference between the dry side, the dry part, and the wet part from when I drilled the other stuff yesterday. It's not something you see every day. All right. that did the trick right there. Look at that. This thing was bowed big time before I did all the wetting the wood and putting the batteries on there and screwing it down with the bow out of it. That's going to work good. Yep, it's going to work really good. So this will be the top part, and I'm going to face this towards the this part towards where we see it, because I like the way that wood looks there compared to the straight stuff. Somebody on the comments, I think yesterday, asked, am I going to round off any of these edges of the wood? No. If it was my choice, I know this sounds crazy to a lot of people, but if I could break all these pieces off and have them work without, you know, having length issues, I would have rather had the edges jagged to match the owner of the truck here. So let's not get a copyright strike here. And this is why I'm saying that. So when I did this dash wood in the truck, I wish the whole truck could look like this, with the edges like that. That's what I would prefer. I broke this piece off. I was like, okay, I need a piece about this long. And I just broke it off, and it was perfect right there. And this is just an old piece of wood that was laying back there. And that's the way I would love this whole project to look. With that look right there with the edges broken. But it's not going to be able to be possible, obviously, because I don't have enough wood to be experimenting with breaking the edges. So no, what you see is what you get. The harsh edges, preferably these would be jagged. And maybe I'll cut jags in them or something, I don't know. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I do my best to not make things look perfect, because we don't live in a perfect world. So I like things to represent the world we live in, which everything is temporary and not perfect. Just like my project here. Let's hope it's not so temporary. We know it's not perfect. Just like, look at this. That probably triggers somebody right there. Ooh, look at that. Look. It's not perfectly straight. Let's see, what else can we do to trigger? Oh, this piece of wood is a little bit higher than that one when I drilled the holes in it. Yeah, let's see if we can trigger somebody else. This piece of wood is lower than the other one. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that it's kind of good therapy. And yeah, eventually my dad has requested me to wax the truck, like tape off a spot and wax a little spot to see if what difference it makes in the truck. I might do that before the car show. I don't think I'll have time, but just so you know, this paint, look at this. There's not much paint here. That's rust, or that's just down to the metal. The hood will work for that. The door a little bit. See how there's hardly any paint right here. So just the hood alone would probably work, but everything else, there's no paint here. That's no paint. So that's just kind of like the base primer layer. So the more I start scrubbing on this truck and waxing it, the more I rub the paint off. So at a certain point, it's going to have to be nicknamed Rusty. And that's the one thing I wanted to ask the family, the Fry family, if y'all want to start suggesting names. I kind of have an idea what I'm going to name the truck, but any suggestions will maybe broaden my horizon there, my spectrum on the names that I might think about going with the truck. But because it's old and rusty like this, it's not really that bad. So right here where the water was leaking in, it's got some rust here, and I'm sure there's a little bit in here. Not too bad. Nothing like the 80 model. And then we got a little bit of the rust in here, but remember, this is a 65 model. So I plan on trying to stop some of this cancer here, but it's really not rusted that bad. And then you got your typical stuff that's really common on these trucks right here, where the dirt collects from the road, you know, garbage and gravel. It collects in this little pocket in here. So you got to keep that pocket cleaned out. You get that rust on each side. But that's about it when it comes to the major rust. But anyway, looking for a name for the truck. I kind of got an idea what I'm going with. See if you can change my mind. but I'm not going to tell you my name, and we'll just see if somebody guesses it. And I'm looking for names for the truck. So names for the truck. Put it in the comments, please. Right there. And if you have a YouTube channel and you want to talk about my project or suggest a name on your own YouTube channel, do a video, send me a link at frytvnow@gmail.com. It's in the about page. If you go to the webpage right now, if you go to YouTube, on FryTv's YouTube, click the about and you'll see all my contact info there. In there is frytvnow@gmail.com. Send me a response video of what you think the truck should be named, and then I'll premiere it on the channel. I'll feature it inside the video, like I do when I read the comments. All right, let's get to the hardest part of this project. Is going to be mounting this. I got to set up a jig and all kinds of stuff to keep it kind of lined up, and then drill inside there with that control panel that I've already placed there. I might have to take that control panel down to get in there, but that's going to be a hard corner to work on. This one's not so bad. So if I don't have to go do a service call today, there's a good chance these panels will be on the 65, and I'll put smaller panels. What I'm thinking about doing is putting 3 different types of panels on here, even though that's not good for the batteries because they kind of get out of balance. I want to see which panels put out more power. So I'll probably put 3 different kinds on here, like the most popular ones that people buy. And that would be Renogy, Windy Nation, Rich Solar, those kinds. Maybe new, I don't have a new power to put on here, but we're gonna go get the trailer for the neighbor and come back, clean up the trailer, and then put these panels, swap out panels from the cart to the 65. So this will be the last time that the cart has panels on it, for now. So this is another reason why I like using that tie wire. I use it for a lot of stuff, because everything I do for the most part is usually for a data point or pretty temporary, which is technically temporary is a data point. So I'm going to leave that there. I might leave the structure on here for future expansion and experiments with the cart with new higher efficiency panels. These are like 22.3% efficiency or something like that. But see, pretty soon, without any tools, I'm gonna have this first panel off of here, and I'm gonna wash it, get all the aphid poop off of it, which is basically tree sap. Those aphids suck the sap out of the trees and poop out the sap. So you're basically getting tree sap with a little bit of aphid poop mixture, whatever they wanted to add to it. And I'm, walking around barefoot all day, when you step on leaves, the bottom of your feet have all this aphid poop on it, and the leaves stick to your feet. So I'm tracking leaves in the house. House looks great right now with all the leaves in there. It's a really good fashion statement. Very low on the spousal acceptance factor, but it does add color to the carpet. All right, so look at this. Since I think we've been talking here, I don't have a mouse in my pocket, so it's just me talking, not we. Oh, we got one more. Wah, wah. So this one looks like it's going to be a little bit of a time consumer. Not too bad. Just got to untwist the curls like that. Get them straight, and then they'll come through their holes like they're supposed to, like that. And then this one, and we'll just do a little inventory shift there. We'll rip that off of there, and we'll do another little inventory shift here. Pull that out of here. We'll unhook this MC4. We'll unhook this one. And this one's going to be a bear, of course. Taking the connector off takes longer. I'm gonna have to go get my special tool for this one. All right, so you get the idea. This panel is released. It's free floating now, except for that tape right there. There we go. So I'm gonna go get my tool for that, and that's how quick we took that panel off. See, it's off. I just got to undo that connector, MC4. I'm gonna wash them, and then we're gonna slide them up on the truck, and I'll be able to hook up 2 of them right now today, and then another one, the third one, I'm gonna have a charge controller somewhere over here, and it'll be hooked up to either 2 panels or 1. I'll probably end up doing 2 panels maybe on this charge controller and 1 panel to the charge controller in the truck. And the reason why I have to split them up, it's good to do that when you're dealing with higher amperages. And I only have a 4-way splitter, and I don't have enough MC4s to make another splitter. And I'm not gonna cut the MC4s off because I'm moving these panels around all the time. And if I'd have cut these MC4s off, I'd be putting them right back on. So it's a good thing I didn't. Let me go get that tool and we'll be right back at this. This is why when I first got into solar, and see, these are I took all these MC4s off all of my solar panels just because of this right here. I can't get them off. So I'm gonna look for a different pair of pliers. What I need is a pair of needle nose like this that are shaped more like pliers. So there we go. See, that was just uncalled for. So yeah, MC4 connectors are a big fail in the solar industry, and a lot of people recognize that, like me. All right, so it took longer to find the right tool to take off one of those than it did to take this panel off you saw earlier. These things are pretty heavy. They're like 24 pounds each, and that's pretty heavy for a 200 watt panel. So we're gonna get this thing washed up, and we're gonna slide it on the front to start with. I gotta take off the old panels first. But I want to have this one and another one cleaned up before I do the swap, so we can at least get 2 of them hooked up, and we can get a reading if the sun's out to see what kind of power we're getting from these at this time of the day and this time of year. So let me get this one washed up. This will take a while. We'll get the other one off, and we're going to see what we're ending up with here on our power. But yeah, look at the difference in this panel. This is a 200 watt high efficient panel, high amp, low voltage. It's made specially for my application. What I need high amps, low voltage, because I'm not using an MPPT charge controller. And look at all this aphid poop. It's just shiny and sticky. I mean, it's hard, like a rock almost. Yeah, until you wet it, it's not going to move, and it's lumped on there. All right, so number 2 is off. The connectors were easy to get off on this one. So one thing I wanted to add about my health. So when I found that video about 3 days ago, I had no idea at the time that was right before I started having anxiety attacks and all that kind of stuff. So you could see I was had some really metabolic issues going on, pre-diabetic. That's right before my AFib started. And what I was eating was bread, you know, lots of sugar, probably potato. I know I was eating potato chips. You know, your standard American diet is the reason why people are having health issues. And all I did was stop the bad stuff and added the good stuff. And what a difference that makes. So I just wanted to add that I could just tell by the way I moved around. You could see in the footage, I'll have to show the footage, but I did not look healthy, and I looked overweight. My gut was hanging out, just all around bad stuff. And I'm so glad I was able to reverse that. So I'm gonna leave that one on there for a while. We'll get 2 of them on here. I'm gonna wash these so they can dry, and then we'll take these 2 off. These both together produce about 11 amps. I'll do a quick load test before I take them off. It's really hard to do that on days like today when it's sunny and shade. sunny and shade. So I'm gonna see if I can pull it off. All right, let's do a quick load test on these 200 watt panels before we take them off. So right now, our battery bank is in float. It's at 13.6 voltage, and we're only having to take 2.7 amps to keep the batteries at float. So let's see, I'm going to turn the headlights on, and that should put a max load on these panels, what they're capable of. So we're going to let that go for a second. We got the headlights on. We're getting about 7 or 8 amps. I'm going to turn on the stereo. That'll put more of a load. I could turn the key on and turn the fan on. So that's 8 something amps. What else could I do for a load test? Yeah, we're down to 12.9. So we're getting right now, this time of day, a maximum of 8.6 amps from those two panels. At the current angle they're at, and the angle of the sun, and the heat of the day. So 8.6 is the amps we're getting from those two panels. So we should get well over 10 on the other two. We should get about 13 or 14 with the other two hooked up. So let's just go and see what we got. And we're going to hook those hot rods up. There's a big difference between these and those. A little bit of power difference. I just want to show you the size difference, what we're taking out and what we're putting in. These are actually going to work better because they're so long, they're going to span across the load bearing portion of the thing I built, instead of sitting in the middle and making the planks sag, the fence wood. So let's get this thing up there and see what it looks like. Got one of them hooked up just to show you the difference. This is one 200 watt. It's just temporarily hooked up. I got to run the wires. I'm going to turn on the headlights. We're going to put a load on this thing and see what kind of amps we're getting. The sun is at a little bit different angle, but just with one panel, we're getting more power than both of those other ones put together. So we're getting almost 9 amps from one panel. And you know, it's what, 3 something? But let's see, what time is it? Alexa, what time is it?
It's 2:24 p.m.
Yeah, so it's 2:24. So I'm going to hook up the other one, and we'll see what we're getting. We're going to be getting basically double what we just had. All right, we got 2 hooked up there, and we got 17.57. It's a little cloudy right now. The clouds popped up. So yeah, the clouds are moving in. So I'm going to do a test here in a second. 2 on there. I got to do some woodwork to get 3 on there. But they really fit up there perfectly. And they're sitting there right there dead perfectly on the load bearing portion. So the insides of the wood is not bowing anymore. So that works really good. That's what it looks like from underneath. The wood's not bowing anymore. And so let's see what kind of power we're producing. The cloud went away. So I need to turn on the headlight. We'll do this from the other side. All right, so we're going to go through the neighbor's yard like we own the place. They don't mind, because I help them out a lot. All right, it's not wet. It's not like I'm going to leave any tracks. So this cart, even with the smaller panels on it, pulls it just fine because it's pulling out of the batteries now. It's not doing any, like all I'm getting from the panels is like maybe 4 amps. I just got to make sure not to run over my fiber link. So we're going to come off of the concrete here a little sideways so we don't have any abrupt jarring. Oh, cart's caught there. I need to talk to the speaker. See? Just like a champ. One more tire. Hey, like that. See? I'm gonna come over here and do a little maintenance on it. If you see this guy pulling my trailer, you tell him to bring it back. All right. So if your hands look like that throughout the day, that means you're having fun. If they're clean, you might not be having fun. So this is where we sit. I'm going to get back on it. Like I said, I'm going to put this coming back here. I got 2 of these left over. I just got to figure out if I'm going to tie in right there or tie in right here. If I tie in right there, it'll make more sense because I can drill 2 holes in this piece and I'm done. And that's really all I'm going to do probably. That way I'm not drilling new holes into this wood. I'm just drilling holes in this wood. So that's the plan. Going to drill those 2 holes, get those 2 up there, slap that other panel on and start wiring up another charge controller. So this is my what I used to carry around to job sites to build ladder tray, and I'm looking for bolts and nuts, but looks like some of this got pretty wet, so it's a little rusty, which will match the truck perfectly. But this is what I got so far. Look at these. See, I used to set big anchors in concrete. Look at that anchor. Look at that sucker. This is a 3/4 inch anchor. Yeah, when you're building out big stuff, you need big anchors. And I used a 1/2 inch hammer drill for that kind of stuff back in the day. Alright, so this is what I came up with so far. If I had 2 of these, I think I'd be in business. This is what I need. So I'm going to have to use something a little smaller diameter, or 2 of these would be perfect, but I don't have 2 of either. I'm going to keep digging, but I'll probably have to use something smaller diameter like this until I can find something bigger for a little bit more strength. Well, that took way too long. I had to find longer bolts. So the bigger diameter bolts I had, this is what I'm using. It's not long enough, so I found these smaller diameter. So I'm going to end up looking for some more of these that are at least 4 inches. All right, so I got 600 watts up here, 3 200 watters. New Power is the company, New Power. So of course I had to skip on the wood here in the center, but that's okay. I'll source some more wood. I got some other stuff just for aesthetics that I might be able to use down here. I'll concern myself about that later. I just want to get everything mounted down. Technically, I could go for a ride right now, and the panels wouldn't fly off if I just kept it slow, you know, as long as I'm not going 80 miles an hour down the road. Because it's stable, turnbuckles are tweaked. This is all tightened. The only thing I wish I had is bigger diameter bolts, but I can get that later. And I'm getting close to calling it a night. Maybe, I don't know. I say that and I work till midnight to 3 in the morning on this thing. But yeah, I kind of like it just jetting out like that. I wish this wood wasn't so, of course it's structurally sound, so that just gives it character. I kind of like that actually now that I think about it. And like I said, I'm going to find some old oil that I got somewhere and just dab it with a little detail brush to, you know, darken out the, where the wood chipped off. You see what I'm saying? When I was working with it like that. Just so it doesn't look like the project was just done. So it looks a little bit more established. So let's get back here and see what we're working with here. So there we go. That's 600 watts of panels. And I could end up putting some trim pieces on the side of these panels. So let's see what that looks like. That's with those little wood trim pieces. What I'll probably end up doing is just hitting it with some used paint that I have, just to kind of, I don't know, it's not a big deal. I don't care, you know. It does match this, so I don't know, doesn't matter. This is not about fashion, this is about function. The action is down here. This is where the attention's going to be. Nobody's going to care about this truck. It's going to be what's going on in the bed of the truck. Everybody's seen a 65 Chevy truck before, but has everybody seen a 65 Chevy truck the way this one's going to be? That's the question. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, except for the fact that I'm exhausted. But I'm still fasting today. Probably a little bit on the dehydrated side, but that's fine. But I got the overall structure built. I'm thinking about whether tying this into here somewhere, if I can find the wood, or I'll probably just leave it like that for now until I find some wood. So I could always use my Polonia just for aesthetics, just for fun. I got this old piece of Polonia here. I could cut it up and come out of the bottom here and then curve up into it, you know, like that. That Polonia wood. Let me do it on the other side so you can see it better. So just to kind of give it a little bit of a flair. You know, of course it'd be even, but of course I'd cut that right there and then I'd tie that in somewhere around here. But really I don't care. It's structurally sound. It ain't going anywhere. We could just put this on the back of the truck right here, and the truck can have a tail. We'll do it right underneath here. We'll stick this piece of Polonia wood sticking straight up like this, and the truck can have a tail. What do you think? Did that trigger anybody? So should we put a tail on the truck? All right, in the chat, in the comments, just for the car show. Should we put a tail on the truck? So I hear my inverter chirp when I crank it up, so I'm curious to see if it reboots my assistant device. So let's find out. So it jumped down to I saw 11.2, but in order for that thing to chirp, it has to go down to 10. So let's see if it caused it to power cycle the assistant. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:22 p.m.
Alexa, play KCAA from TuneIn.
KCAA radio from TuneIn.
So no, it didn't reboot it. Sock still works. All right, so what we're looking for here is wobble. Hope I got everything moved out of the way. Not the train wobble, but the structure. That's the solar panels, because we got 70 pounds on them today. So I'm just gonna take it slow here. I don't want the train to fall over. I kind of just wanted the train to run just for the video. So I'm doing the train. But we're gonna see if we got wobble now. I don't see it moving. Like I said, those guy wires are gonna loosen up every time I take this thing for a ride. So it's going to need to be adjusted, and I still might add more. So far it's doing good. Train's probably going to fall over going around this corner right here. Nope. Wow, train didn't fall over. So I got the timing retarded right now, about 7 degrees. So it would idle extra low going around that corner. But yeah, it's working pretty good. I don't see any wobbling. Yep. I think it's time to get serious about it and secure the panels tomorrow, and maybe do a live stream tomorrow or Sunday or something. Well, Sunday's no agenda day. So best case scenario, I might do a live tomorrow. I'll definitely have a video. But yeah, train didn't fall over and no wobble on the structure, and it doesn't feel top heavy. That's another thing I was concerned about, is was it going to feel top heavy, like rocking back and forth? And nope. I definitely need a right side mirror on this truck. There we go. It didn't wobble a bit. let's get to reading the comments. Alright, this is the time of the video where I rip and read like a professional dyslexic. Alright, so let's see, comments. Newest, top. Let's click newest. Alright, so 5 hours ago, gas pump repair service says, thanks for sharing your project. So this is, if you're new to the channel, what I do is I read the comments from yesterday's video. So whatever last video I uploaded, which was yesterday's, I read the comments. Alright, so this was from yesterday's video. Alright, so thanks for sharing your projects. Always interesting. I'm sure that I'm not alone in saying that I've learned a thing or two along the way. Cool. Gets a thumbs up and a heart. Alright. Smile a while. That's a cool name. Smile a while. Says so cool. Alright. Corporate worker says haha, Pops is never satisfied. Oh yeah, Pops, my dad. Yeah, I know. He's trying to trigger me with the gusset thing. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, I pissed him off probably because look, he's not leaving a comment. I don't see his... Yeah, it's a Friday though. Fridays are always slow days for video stuff. And he's always busy. Alright, Kay says this project's getting neater every day. If you want a third smoke effect, try dry ice. It's 50 cents for 3 pounds. Yeah, that's just, I don't have, if I had somebody helping me with this, somebody could go out and get dry ice, but yeah, that's a good idea, but yeah, where would I get it? That's the question. I don't think I'd have to go to Austin to get dry ice. Alright, let's see, that's all the comments. Well, that's easy for me. Great. Yeah, I probably, my dad's got this thing with gussets, but look, again, you can't put a gusset on this project because there's no 2 sides of wood to screw to. There's just one upright and that's it. So I guess that's it. So today, as you can see, that I made a lot of headway. I didn't have to go out and do service calls. I did have a couple of hours of delay where I had to get the trailer ready for the neighbors and source spare tires and clean it, and I actually did some work with the tiller, the solar tiller. I left it out of this video. It's going to be a separate video because the video got too long, but I actually ran the tiller with the golf cart power, my solar tiller that has a treadmill motor on it, and I'm going to premiere that in a separate video because this one already got too long. And I also did a vacuum cleaner bag test on my exhaust system this morning to show you how that worked versus a sock or a towel. Alright, so I guess that's it. That was easy reading. Cool. Yep, that was it. So, love you all. Please like, share, subscribe. I do daily video uploads now of all my projects. And I might call the other ones bonus videos. The ones that are outside the projects, like the tiller and the vacuum cleaner bag or whatever. So, love you all. We'll do this again tomorrow. Please like, share, subscribe. And remember, it's free.